Hey, what's happening? Happy Friday to everybody. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, after the last few days of doing angry, anxiety-filled videos talking about Donald Trump for the last couple of days, I thought I would do something. It's a little more humorous this morning, this video. Even though the story itself wasn't meant to be humorous, it's meant to make a point. But I'll get to that in a second. When I first came across this story, I was sure that it was a Trump lawmaker. In Tennessee, Representative Ogles, a Republican lawmaker, has put forward legislation to try to keep Donald Trump in for a third term, but not Barack Obama. This is the law that the Tennessee lawmaker put forward, that if a president served two non-consecutive terms, he could serve a third. So this is made so that Donald Trump can serve a third term in office. But since Obama served two consecutive terms, he wouldn't be eligible for this. So I came across that. And I thought it was a little early to start talking about a third term from Donald Trump, considering egg prices are now $9 a dozen here in Connecticut. They've gone up 40% in the last week that Donald Trump has been president. So yeah, that whole theory about food prices going down or egg prices going down with Donald Trump, no, that's not working out too well. Okay, so here's the story. The links will be down for the link about the Tennessee lawmaker in the third term. That'll be down below too, but this story will be down below. This is what I want to talk about. It's called the Contraception Begins at Erection Act. Now, I got to warn you guys that this is going to be kind of an adult-themed video. And as usual, I usually do videos where I talk about my experience with the subject, so be forewarned. Okay, so this lawmaker, when I first saw this story, I thought it was a Trumper for sure. I thought it was just another Trumper making crazy laws. The Contraception Begins at Erection Act. And here's the gist of it. It will be illegal for men to masturbate, to waste their seed. The first time they get caught, their seed can only be used for contraception, not to waste unless they're going to donate it for contraception or they're going to use it to try to make a baby. And the first offense of trying to rub one out is $1,000. This is serious. The link will be right down below. It's $1,000. Second offense is $5,000. Third offense, getting caught trying to rub one out in Mississippi, will be $10,000. Serious. So right off the bat, as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my God, it's another crazy Donald Trump, Donald Trump loving MAGA Republican. It's got to be, but it's not. And there's a point to this. This is actually a Democrat lawmaker. It's Bradford Blackman. Like I said, all the information will be down below. And he's actually a Democrat. And the point of this is to make a point that in Mississippi, it's been illegal since 2022, except for in cases of family or forced intimacy. It's legal to have an abortion. And he's making a point here that it's not up to the government to regulate people's bodies. Like, if you can regulate women's bodies, so hey, let's regulate men's bodies. So this is a Democrat lawmaker trying to make a point. And of course, this is Mississippi is a hard red state, and this guy's a Democrat, and there's no chance that this is ever going to pass. So you guys in Mississippi, you don't have to worry about rubbing one out. You're not going to get fined. Chances are this law is not going to go through. But he's serious, and like I said, he's trying to make a point. On TMZ, like I said, links down below. At the end of every story, you can hit a button and kind of vote on how you feel about the story. You could hit WTF, what the, or haha, or trash, or love, or sad. And as soon as I saw this, like I said, I didn't get the gist of it. I thought it was a Trumper lawmaker. I just, I speed read, in the morning, so I'm trying to come up with a video for you guys. So I just go through the stories really quick, trying to find a story to talk about with you guys. And when I first went through it, I read through it and I was like, WTF, what the is this guy talking about? He's going to find guys for rubbing one out. And then I got the gist of it. the contraception begins at erection act. It's making a point. It's not up to the government to regulate women's bodies, especially, that's insane that old white haired men can tell women what to do with their bodies, or what they can and can't do with their bodies. Here in Connecticut, it's still perfectly legal. That's why I will never move to a red state. Okay, so as usual, I talk about the subject at hand here, and I'm going to give you a little rundown. I did a video talking about this. Hey, today's my birthday. I turned 59 years old today, and I found that my sex drive has revved down a little bit from the high. When guys are younger, in their teens and their 20s, it's a high rev sexual energy, and it's gone down since I hit about 40. And I did a video talking about this, that this actually helped me. And when I turned 40, to go into recovery, because my sexuality and my drug addiction I didn't realize how interlocked they were. I would see a pretty girl, a hot girl walking down the street, and I would think I'd start thinking my dealer's phone number, and vice versa. When I would see somebody using drugs, I would think of pornography or stuff like that. Seriously. So when I hit 40, my drive kind of went down a little bit, and it really did help with my going into recovery. All right, so let me talk about this. I still remember back when I was younger. I thought I was a bad guy. I thought I was like, an evil person, a bad little kid. I didn't realize that everybody did this, And I still remember back in I was probably in third or fourth grade, and whenever anything bad happened in my life, I would pray. I'd be like, God, I'll never do that again. I'll never touch myself again. I promise, please let this go away. Whenever anything ever bad happened in my life, I thought it was because I was self-gratifying. I thought that was the cause of it. Seriously. Here's something I wasn't even going to put in this video. Nobody teaches you how to do this. It's something you learn on your own. Did you ever wonder about that? And I don't know if I don't know if I've never talked to any other guys. I've never talked to anybody about this. But when I first learned how to do this, I think it was kind of by accident. I don't know how this happened, but I was using two hands, kind of like this. That's how I first discovered that it felt good. Until I learned the real method, until I figured out the real method. But yeah, when I first started out, it was kind of like a two-handed method. Let me talk about this. This is one thing: I'll never shake another guy's hand. I do not shake hands. If you ever meet me, don't stick your hand out to shake my hand, because I won't shake your hand. It's nothing personal. But when I was in my 20s, I used to drive a truck for a newspaper company, a magazine company, and that's when I was using. I was at the height of my addiction and everything. And in the truck, most days, I would deliver adult magazines to adult bookstores all over Connecticut. That's what was in the back of my truck. We had literally had hundreds, if not thousands, of titles of, from Playboy to Hustler to hardcore stuff to everything. And I would have totes filled up my whole truck with these magazines, So this wasn't really good for my whole addiction, because I would come in the morning. I wouldn't have slept all night from being up using all night long, and I would get in my truck filled with pornography. And of course, I hate to say this, but I would pull the truck off, before I would go to my first stop. And I'd go in the back and I'd take care of business with the magazines, And this is terrible, but I still remember going into, the places I delivered these magazines, like drugstores and supermarkets and stuff like that. And I would shake hands with the manager after I finished business in the truck and I delivered the magazines, and I was like, oh my God, I haven't even washed my hands since I was in the truck. So yeah, I'll never, if you have any 20 or 30-year-old guys working for your company, man, I'd keep an eye on them. I think a lot of guys take care of business at work. Like I said, since I've been 40, it's really revved down. It's not something that, it's really not a weekly, or even, I don't know, it's very seldom that I take care of business now. So that's the video for today. The links will be down below. You guys have a good Friday.